What's going on, guys? It's Bucky and welcome to your, let's see what tutorial it is, 51st I think, UDK tutorial. And in this tutorial, actually in the upcoming tutorials, what I'm going to be teaching you guys is going to be awesome. I'm finally gonna kind of step away from putting the pieces together in the visual aspect of our game, and we're going to be hopping into the dynamic aspect of our game, how the player can interact with the environment. And in this first tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can cause damage to the environment and how the environment can realize that it's taking damage and respond to it in a certain way, however you want it to. So before I hop into that, let me just mention that I'm using the map that we used before. However, I cleared everything out of it basically. So now all we have is just plain old static meshes, this wall, this podium, this wall right here, and a control panel. And remember we had a trigger right in front of here. I deleted that. And I also had a bunch of stuff in Kismet. I went and deleted that. So basically we have a blank map. So don't think, I set everything up beforehand, because I didn't. So now let me go ahead, and the very first thing I want to teach you guys is how you can shoot this control panel right here and how it can realize that you shot it and respond in a certain way, maybe send some enemies out to you, or do whatever it wants to do. So now let me go ahead and select this control panel right here, and I'm going to go ahead and hop in Kismet. And actually, before I even continue, I want to mention this. I'm going to be moving a little bit faster from now on, because now that we know the interface of the UDK and we kind of know how everything is pieced together generally when making the game, I'm going to be taking things up a little bit faster, because I think it's time that, like I said, we start to move a little bit faster, but I'm definitely not going to be leaving you guys behind. I just want to mention that I think it's time we move a little bit quicker. And if you guys get lost and you have any questions, don't forget to ask me on my forum, thenewboston.com/forum, and I'll be glad to answer them for you then. But like I said, it's time to kind of step away from the beginner, putting the pieces together, and moving in to the more advanced stuff. So go ahead and select this control panel right here and open Kismet. And I first want to introduce you guys to a new type of event. So before, the only event we knew was the trigger event. So now with your control panel selected, go ahead and right click and hit new event using static mesh actor, and I'm going to hit take damage. And now we now have a take damage event. And you're saying, all right, what the heck is a take damage event? Well, you can apply these take damage effects to these static meshes, and now what's going to happen is, in your game, this static mesh right here, it's going to be waiting for you to do damage to it, either shooting it with a gun, or running up and kicking it with your foot, or hitting it with a sword. Anytime you do damage to it, it's going to output a signal. So again, aside from just flicking a trigger on and off, you can also have these static mesh damages, where whenever this object right here takes damage and we're going to be shooting it with our gun, it's going to output the signal. But say you're making a game and you have the player able to do damage in a bunch of different ways. You give them, maybe if they bump into the object, it does 1 damage. Maybe if they punch it, it does 5 damage. If they shoot it with a gun, it does 60 damage. Or if they shoot it with, a cannon, it does like 500 damage. Well, we don't want this to go off with, just a little bump or anything like that. So we're going to want to go ahead and set this damage threshold down to, something like 5 or 10 or something like that. Because if we set it too high, like 500, then we're never going to be able to set the signal off, because we're going to need, a nuclear bomb. But if we set it something to, zero point 0.5 or, 1, then anytime we bump into it, it's going to go off. So set it equal to something like 5, and then whenever we shoot it with a gun, it's going to respond. So basically, whenever we do damage to this and we're going to be shooting it with a gun, it's going to output something, and something is going to happen. So just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to make a real quick announcement play. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new action. I'll just write a regular announcement, I guess, play announcement. So now, whenever I do damage to it, aka shoot it with a gun, an announcement is going to play. So now let me change the properties of the announcement, and the text is going to be like, WTF, Bucky, don't shoot me, with an exclamation point. So now let me go ahead and X out of this, and I might as well X out of this and hop over into right there, and check it out. you need to right click this because if you left click it, it's not going to work. So go ahead and right click with your mouse and look what happens. It says, WTF Bucky, don't shoot me. And again, if we do it more than once, it isn't going to go off again. So it's only going to go off one time. And the reason for that is, if you're wondering what's going on, in this take damage event that happens, you're going to have a property, let me find it, that says max trigger count. And it says how many times can this event be activated, 0 for infinite. Well, we only want it to be activated one time because we're just going to look at it this way. Once we shoot it one time, then it's ruined. We can't use it anymore. So again, you can go ahead and set it to 0, and this will make it so every time you shoot it, it'll say, what did we put? WTF Bucky, don't shoot me. But I'm going to go ahead, and you usually want to set them to 1 because usually when you destroy something, it gives you a signal or it locks the door or, turns on the light, and that's it. You shoot it one time and it's over. So I just want to explain it to you guys because in these tutorials I'm going to be keeping it at 1, but if you want to change it for your game, that's how you change it. So for now, I just want to, give you a little piece of this tutorial because in the next tutorial we're going to be adding some more static meshes and I'm going to be showing you guys a really cool feature. But for now, that's all you guys get. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you guys next time.